And so today, I want to talk about hold on to your confidence. And we're reading from the book of Hebrews. And it says, therefore, do not throw away your what? Which has great what? For you have, it says, for you have need of what? So you got to have some endurance. And it says, so that when you have done the will of God, you may receive what is what? Yet a little while, and the coming one will come. Thank God. And will not what? But my righteous one shall live by faith. And if he does what? My soul has what? No pleasure in him. But we are not of those who do what? And are what? But of those who have faith and do what? Preserve their soul. You may be seated. Hold on to your confidence. I don't care who you are. There's going to be a point in your life that you're going to get down on yourself. I don't care who you are. There's going to be a point in your life that you want to just throw in the towel and just throw up your hands. I don't care who you are. There's going to be some time in your life you don't know if you're coming or if you're going. And God is saying, hold on to your confidence. Let's go ahead and define the word confidence. I looked it up in the dictionary for you guys. It says a feeling or belief that one can rely on who? Someone or what? Then it also said a state of feeling certain about the truth or what? And then it says a feeling of self-assurance arising from one appreciation of one's own ability or qualities. I am saying today, we're not talking about your quality. We're saying have confidence in the Lord, our Savior. We're saying when things look so big and in your life, you have the confidence in someone who is bigger than your problem. I tell folks all the time, they tell me how big their problem is. Tell me how big your God is. In life, you're going to have testimonies. You're going to have things that don't go your way. And they always, old saints used to say this right here. You can't have a test without the money. Testimony, the word test becomes a holdemony. And so this world is full of tests, and God is saying, hold on to your confidence. That means, this is the good news right here. It's speaking in present tense. So if he said, hold on to your confidence, that's something you already got. If I tell you to hold on to $100 and you don't have $100, that's not holding on because you don't have it. He's saying whatever you have is already there. Hold on to it because Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Why do you want to hold on to it? For he said, number one, it says it has a great reward. Man, that's good news. It has a great reward when you have confidence in God. Now, when I have confidence in God, it doesn't matter what stacks against me. I believe in him. I read a story about this monkey. And in Africa, they like to trap monkeys. And what they would do is get this coconut, and they'll cut it in half. And they'll put a hole on both sides of the coconut. But in the middle of the coconut, what they would do is put an orange inside of it. And the hole is just big enough for the monkey to squeeze his hand inside of it. And then they would tie this coconut to a tree. And then the unsuspecting monkey would come by and smell that delicious orange inside of that coconut. And he see there's just enough room to get inside. And he'll get his hand inside, and he'll grab a hold of that orange. And he can't pull it out. And while he's sitting there struggling, trying to get the orange out of the coconut, the hunters come while he's unsuspected, and they throw a trap over him, and they trap the monkey. I come to say, we need to stop holding on those oranges sometimes. Sometimes you got to let it go. If you think everything gonna go your way in life and everything gonna work according to your plans, let it go. You're gonna be trapped. And this is life. Either you're gonna have to let some stuff go, or you end up getting trapped. You end up stuck. You end up in a place of confusion. You end up losing confidence in life. You end up losing confidence in people. I had an incident this weekend. Now, last week we talked about basically finding a way to get some rest, right? Finding a way to get away. Finding a way to step away from confusion sometimes. And we said, find your relief. How do you relieve? Because the stress is going to be there. How do you get a little space and recharge your battery? So this weekend, I said, I'm going to recharge my battery. USM football game was canceled, and I was very excited about that. And so I ain't had to go out of town. And so I was going to sit home and just watch the game and don't do nothing. I get a call from a guy that morning. He said, look, I'll be at your house tomorrow, which is Monday, to do some work. I'll meet you at Lowe's at 6 a.m. We're going to get the material, and then you can start, do some sheet rock work at my house. He texts me at 6 in the morning. Call me when you wake up. I can start today. Now, cousin, I don't want to be bothered today. Who done been at home don't want to be bothered? Don't want no company. I don't want my door opening, the alarm, to be beeping. Then they want to, they come there, they want to assess everything. Then they want you to go to Lowe's. Then you got to pay for it. Then you got to haul it in your truck, right? Because he don't have the equipment. Then he done missed out on something. He got to go back. I don't want to be bothered. So he texts my phone at 6 a.m. Let me know when you wake up. I can start today. I didn't text him back because we wasn't going to start today. 7:30, my doorbell ring. I'm like, look at this right here. Now I ain't even respond to your text. Come on, how many people know you ain't no good for nobody? You need to be by yourself. I'm overwhelmed right now. I'm tired. And so I looked at him. I'm like, and he does great work. I just didn't want to be bothered. I said, come on in, man. So me and Juicy Jaw watching cartoons, right? And she running around, and he needed some material. I said, let me tell you something, man. I know the price is and all that. You said Monday. I ain't going to have no money to Monday. So I was trying to scare him off, right? Well, I started anyway. I'm like, boy, I be dog. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't scare him off. So he did the work. But every time he opened the door and it beeped, I'm like, Lord. Then he said he needs $20 to do something this right here. I'm like, Lord. Then he asked me would I run to the store. And I'm like, I had to go in the mirror and talk to myself. Like self. And then I say, hon, calm down. Come on, who done been at that point right there? And I'm just telling you, sometimes we lose trust in people. Sometimes we get very irritable. Sometimes we just got to step away and get away sometimes. Then we'll come back with full confidence in what's going on. And I said that, but I can say, great guy. But look at this right here. Look at it. It says it has great reward when we hang up in there. And we have confidence in God. Look at it says. This is NIV version. It says, so do not throw away this what? Trust in the Lord, right? Remember the great reward it brings to you. And it says you need to do what? You got to preserve. You have to preserve. And then, first of all, this is why you need to preserve. Number one, it says you will do the will of God. If you preserve and hang in there, you will do the will of God. How many people have been in a situation and it wasn't working out, and all of a sudden he worked that thing out? So don't lose confidence. I'm talking about confidence in God, because sometimes we know we can't do it in our own strength. And number two, it says you will receive the benefits of God's promises. How many times you done held on and you didn't understand and buy and God worked that thing out? You said, God, you know what you be doing. You know exactly what you are doing. It has great rewards. And then the Bible says, Christ shall come soon. I got a good friend named Mark. He got married. And when he got married, him and his wife had a little girl. And Mark was the type of guy, whatever his wife said, he did. I mean, he believed in pleasing his wife. So whatever, that's what the kind of guy he was. So the baby was crying, 1 year old. The baby was up in the playpen and just acting a fool, crying. And she wanted to get out. And so Mark walked over to the playpen to get her. She had her arms up. And the wife said, Mark, leave her in the playpen. Because if you keep running to her and taking her out, she's going to grow up and be spoiled. So he didn't pick her up. He went back and sat down. The wife walked out the room. Baby started crying again. He walked back, and he heard his wife. She said, Mark, do not pick the baby up. She's going to end up being spoiled. And every time she get in trouble, she know daddy going to come running her way. And he said, she ain't lying. Wife walked out of the house and left for a moment. And Mark said, okay, dear, I'm going to do what you asked me to do. Baby started crying again. He walked over to the playpen. She was crying, got hysterical and crying. And he said, look, baby, I tell you what. He had tears in his eyes. He said, your mama said that I cannot pick you up out of the pen, but she didn't say that I can't get in. I'm coming to you sometime when you be crying, when them storms coming your way. Isn't it good that God is with you in the midst of the storm? Isn't it good that he's there and he brings you through the storm? I can have confidence even though I may not get out of the storm, but he's with me. We have to have confidence because we know Christ is coming soon. But he may not come the way we want him. But the old saints say he always is on time. It says right here, when you endure with confidence, it causes God. It says what? It said, endure with confidence, cause God will come through. Endure with confidence because God will come through. And I had something happen this weekend, and I didn't know how to respond to it. And the only thing that anybody ever had some injustice? You know it ain't right, they know it ain't right. I mean, it's just all that. I'm like, man, you know what? God is trying to teach me something. Who done got that idea now? I don't understand it. God is trying to teach me something right now. Don't be like the monkey, get trapped up and lose confidence in life and lose confidence in what's going on around the world and lose confidence in yourself, lose confidence on your future. God is saying, hold on to your confidence. Look at this right here. It says all the blessings outweigh the discomfort. Man, when that thing work out, the old saints say you understand by and by. The devil wants to take you away from your comfort zone. I come today and say, don't lose confidence in anything that God has put before you. I come today to say, whatever signs, whatever thing he put in your heart, go for it. It does not matter what the devil says. We got to take accountability for our actions. I read something about a husband and wife in counseling, and while they're in counseling, and they both were talking about each other, wasn't hitting on this and wasn't hitting on that. Y'all know some couples like that. And the counselor said, you know what? I tell you what, let's have a little accountability. I want you to tell me what you're doing wrong in the relationship, what things you can work on. And the husband said, you know what? I lose my temper sometimes. I can work on that. I do need to work on my patience. And I do need to work on my words. I need to say kind things of affirmation to my wife. See, that's good. The counselor looked at the wife. She said, now, for you. The wife said, for me, my problem was because I married him. You see that? And sometime in our life, we think all our problem is somebody else. God going to send storms in your life. God going to send some things in your life. You just have to get to yourself sometime and renew yourself and believe in God. Look at this right here. It says when you live through difficult times without seeing signs of hope, that's the sign of faith. When you can live through difficult times without seeing any signs of hope. Anybody been in a situation recently that you saw no sign of hope, but you still trusted him? God is telling you today, whatever it is that seems hopeless, don't lose your confidence. He is there with you. Man, Habakkuk was going through some things, and he was praying to God, and Babylon was on his neck, and sometimes it seemed like the negative people, the people doing things the wrong way, getting ahead. It seemed like the people that's coming against you are getting ahead. This is what he said. This is what God said to him. He asked God, what is going on? God responded. This is what the Lord said. It says, write down. And then anybody know how to say it? Write it down and make it plain. It says, write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets, right? And it says, see that herald may run with it, right? It says, for the revelation to wait at an appointed time, it speaks of what? In, and will not prove what? And it says, though it linger, wait for what? It will certainly come and will not what? And it says, see, the enemy is puffed up. His desires are not upright, but the righteous person will live by what? By faithfulness. Man, that's good news right there. But I learned to just hold on and have confidence in what I'm doing. I can remember a guy when I was in Greenbrier Apartments, and he was, when I was a kid, you know, the girls like the guys who can pop wheelies. Y'all know that, right? When they could get your bike and ride on one wheel, and we was over there trying to impress some ladies, and this guy named Russell was over there, and he said, watch me impress the girl. I can walk the bike the farthest. I'm like, man, you don't know how to ride a bike. He said, well, watch this. I know how to ride a bike. I seen y'all do it. He jumped on the bike. And you know the male bikes now, you know the women, their bike go down, and the male, they have a bar right there. Y'all know that, right? And he gonna grab that bike and impress those girls. So Russell popped that wheelie, and his feet came off. And he fell down on the bar, right? And while he was speaking in a high-pitched voice, this little girl named Wanda, he was trying to impress, she walked over, she said, hey, Russell, said, you're a very handsome guy. She said, I believe you can do it. Do you know that guy, something rose up and he jumped on that bike and started popping wheelies? I'm just telling you, sometimes you got to believe in the confidence that others have for you until your confidence kick in. This guy rose up. Have anybody ever told you you could do something you didn't believe in, then you started doing it? Man, God is saying in your life you can do it. Whatever it is that he put inside of you, he's saying you can do it. Man, something rose up. Drawing back, God said your faith preserved the soul. But God said this right here, drawing back displeases God. If you're going to ball up and cry every time something goes wrong, that displeases God. If you go every time you get ready to start something, you always stop it, that displeases God, right? I know people, they say all the time that if you plant something, if you keep uprooting it, it won't grow. Every time some rain comes, it'll get too high, you uproot and run over to this other town. Then something happen again, you uproot and you go over to this other relationship. If you keep uprooting, God is saying you got to be there and weather some things. Anybody been weathering some things and you made your mind up that you're not going to lose confidence and press on through? Man, he's telling us faith preserves the soul. Look at Luke 9:62. It says, Jesus said to him, no one puts his hand to a plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God. If you're not willing to work this thing out and work through some things, God's saying you are not fit. I can't trust you. Every time something goes wrong, you lose your mind. God cannot trust you. Every time something goes wrong, you run away. God is saying you are not fit for the kingdom. Look at Hebrews 10:38. It says, but my righteous one will live by faith if he draws back, and I have no pleasure in him. Man, it is so good to live by faith, because sometimes that's the only thing you can live by. Sometimes that's the only thing that you can hold on to. And I'm coming today to tell you that God did not make no junk. Some people may say that you're not worthy for this position, not worthy to be living in this condition. I'm telling you, God didn't make no junk. You're worthy. Some people may have some doubt in themselves and don't know your future. I'm telling you to have confidence in God. How many times have someone in here faced something that was insurmountable that you knew that you couldn't overcome? But just having confidence in God, just holding on to that simple thing, but it's so big. Man, faith preserves the soul. Don't lose your confidence in anything that you are doing. It kind of reminds me of the story about the feet in the sand. This older gentleman was looking back over his life. He was speaking to God. And he mentioned at different chapters of his life. He said, God, when I was walking with my foot in the sand as I was going through certain chapters of my life, I noticed that there was another foot beside me walking too. Because somebody was walking with me. And God said, I was walking with you. Aren't you glad that God walked with you sometime? Then he said to God, but there were some times in my life that I felt the worst, that I had the most turmoil, that things was not going right. I didn't know to hold on. I couldn't be strong. I was giving up. It hurt so bad during those times in my life. And God said to him, when you only saw one foot in the sand, that was the time that I was carrying you. If you look over your life sometime, a lot of people went crazy that went through what you went through. That's the time that God was carrying you. And when you leave here today, you realize in them tough times, that's the only way you're going to get through, when God is carrying you through. And you know he brought you through before. And he'll do it again. So don't lose confidence when it seems like you're all alone by yourself. When it seems like no way that you're going to come out of it. That is the time that God shows up and shows out. And he carries you through the sand. If you receive the message, let's give God a hand clap of praise. We hope you enjoyed the message today. It is now time for Tithes and Offering. There are 3 ways to give. You can use our CashApp at the bottom of the screen. You can also text, and it's at the bottom of the screen. Or if you would like, we have a Dropbox here at the church where you can drop off your giving. Now, if something was said today that moved you and you want to give your life to Christ, we would like for you to call us at 408-7156. We want to talk to you about your decision today.